we have to go to the better planning and investment options. So for that, the profit maximization is helpful to the organization, and also ensuring financial stability. So every company, they must stabilize their operations and activities, day-to-day transactions. Otherwise, they don't maintain the proper balances between the income and expenditure. That may not be sufficient, that may not stable, because that balances and balance nothing but balance sheet nothing but we are going to looking about the assets and liabilities of the balance. So balance must be equal, or what are the income and expenditure must be equal. If that income is low and expenses is more than the income, then we are not stable. So if income is more than the expenditure, or the assets are more than the liabilities, and profits are more than the these losses, then only we are going to have a financial stability. So this kind of opportunities must be have in this organization. So as a financial manager, we consider these things. And types of financial planning. What are the financial planning? Here we have two types of financial plannings are there. That is a short-term financial planning, and another is long-term financial planning. What is the short-term financial planning? Short-term is for only up to 1 year. This for up to 1 year includes budgeting, capital flow management, and working capital management. So in organizations, generally, we used to have a day-to-day transactions. We used to experience the day-to-day transactions. For that, we are going to have a capital in our hand. So if there is no sufficient capital in our account, definitely we can't run those operations. So that's the reason in the short-term financial planning, we must have a workflow, that is a cash flow management and working capital management. And long-term financial planning. Here, the long-term financial planning is over 3 to 5 years of time. It is more than the 1 year, and 3 to 5 years of financial plan. Tenure is known as the long-term financial planning. It includes the capital investment decisions, debt management, and the expansion of the strategy. Here we can see the three categories are there, three angles, the aspects are there. That is the capital investment decisions. How much they want to expect, how much they want to invest. And for that, we have to take a proper decision. Otherwise, if you are going to investing in the long term, if you don't take in a proper decisions, the total investment be loss or something. We can't survive in future also. And debt management, what is the debt? For example, we take the loan from the banks, or if you borrow from some other financial instruments. So how we are going to managing? How, for example, if you are going taking any loan from the individual persons as a capital, so how we are going to maintaining it, and how to overcome the debts of the organizations. At the same time, expansion of the strategies. So every time it is strategy is nothing but the day-to-day transactions, day-to-day activity, day-to-day process. It is not fixed for certain things. It is not a plan, but strategy is always expanding and changing and modifying, altering, and it will be expanding for the future purposes. And example of financial planning. A retail company wants to expand its operations by opening 10 new stores in the next 5 years. The financial plan will include, like example is that one retail company is there, they want to expand their business operations, opening 10 new stores in the next 5 years. There is long-term financial planning, and the financial plan will include estimating the total cost of expansion. So how much they want to invest. So estimating that is projecting or forecasting about the future plans, and what is the cost is going to be incurred in this point. So estimating the total cost of expansion, maybe that in the real estate or inventory and salaries, they are going to estimating all these parameters, and identifying fund resources, and how to gather, how to acquire, how to sort out the financial funding sources. That may be from the loans, maybe banks or the NBFCs, non-banking finance corporations, or the private parties, and equity investment, maybe shareholders fund, like in a dividend group terms. So how we are going to maintaining this financial planning and planning so forecasting expected revenue from the new stores. How to estimate, how to expect the revenue from the new stores that we have to forecast in the future. So for the future purpose, we have to understand about how much revenue is going to be come from that particular these things. And the planning cost control measures to maintain profitability. So if you have a good plans and how if you have a cost control measures to maintain the profit. So that means we have to reduce our cost where we are going to unnecessarily spending that money, unnecessarily where we are going to putting our investments, like that we have to look into that category. Now, financial forecasting. So far we have discussed about the financial planning. Now we are going to discussing about the financial forecasting. So what is that meaning? The financial forecasting, nothing but financial forecasting is the process of predicting a company's future financial performance based on historical data, market trends, and economic conditions. So here what we have to consider in these financial forecasting. So it is a predicting of the company future financial performance, how that company has to be there after 5 years or 3 years or 1 year. But what are the base thing? What we have to see, what we have to look, and what we have to understand, and on what basis we have to look about these things. So here the historical data is helpful to the organization. So for the past 5 years or 10 years, how that company has invested, where they have invested, and how much they are gain the profits, like that. That historical data. And now what are the market trends? For example, if you are going to investing money in this particular segment, whether we can survive or not, how to understand that market trends by understanding other competitors to us. And also economic conditions. What are the economic conditions? Whether the rupee value or else a market position, market conditions about the particular things in terms of resources availability, in terms of manpower, in terms of technology, in terms of technical and professional. Everything must be related to the economic conditions only. And it helps in making performed financial decision and preparing for uncertainties. So here forecasting helps to making an informed financial decisions and preparing for uncertainty. So sometimes we used to get uncertainty in the future. So uncertainty is nothing but we can't predict anything, and uncertainty is going to be happening in the every business organization. So that sometimes that we have to obey. Uncertainties may be occur in these organizations. There will be 10%, 20%, 30% that business financial manager must understand and about the future these things. And here financial forecasting also has a objectives. So objectives of the financial forecasting nothing but here about 3-4 are there. But that is first one is the predicting future revenue and expenses. What are the predicting future revenue and the expenses? How much we are going to getting and how much we have to invest in the future. Here, estimating how much income and cost a business will have. So here, estimating. How we have to estimate how much income is going to be there, how much is coming from our business investment. How much cost also will be there in the business operation. So we can see in both angles, that is the income aspects and also cost aspect. The two aspects we have to estimate that are predicting about the revenues and expenses category. And aiding investment decisions. how to, what are the supporting things, what are the helping things are there in this investment decisions that we have to consider. Helping companies decide whether to expand, invest, or cut the cost. So helping that companies decide whether to expand the investment or not, whether we are going to cutting the cost or not. So these two things are in the two angles that we have to understand about that we have to aiding aiding investment decisions will be expand the investment and cutting the cost of it. And managing cash flows. So how to ensure that enough liquid to daily operations. So management, for example, if you are working capital management, that nothing but. So for example, day-to-day transactions, how you are going to running without cash in our hand. So ensuring that we have sufficient funds in our hand to daily operations. Otherwise, we can't run the business organizations effectively. And also risk assessment. So identifying potential risks, not small risks. We can estimate, identify the potential risks and planning, mitigating strategies. So we have to plan, mitigate, and execute. So this kind of mitigation strategies are else financial risks. Definitely, we must understand about this for a bit. Then only the financial forecasting will understand. Types of financial forecasting. So here, 4 types of financial plannings are there. That is the sales forecasting, expense forecasting, profit forecasting, cash flow forecasting. So sales forecasting, nothing but predicting the future sales based on the market trends. Now, what is the market trend now, and how that is going to be there in the future? So here we have to understand, predict the future sales based on the marketing conditions. So we can expect that future conditions, how much companies growth is going to be there, how much sales is going to be will be occur in the future. So this kind of predicting future goals based on the market trends only, so that we can understand that we can predict the future sales based on the market trends. And expense forecasting, so estimating future operational cost. So we can understand that estimating the future operational cost. So future sales is different, the future expense also is going to be there. Future expense is that nothing but how we are going to have a future sales. So which operational cost. And profit forecasting, calculating expected profitability. Then we have to calculate how much we can get by applying some technology or technicality and some formulas, and some based upon the from previous data and existing current data. All these things, how we are going to calculate. We have to calculate the expected profitability in this organization. And the cash flow forecasting. So here the predicting the cash flow inflows and outflows. So what are the incomes, what are the outcomes? So future incomes, that is predicting of the cash inflow. So how that business operations are going to be there, how that cash transactions are going to be placing in the organization. So inflows nothing but another way we can understand that income, and the output nothing but we can understand as a outcome. So here the predicting the cash inflows and outflows of the organization. So inflows and outflows. So that is known as cash flow forecasting. Cash flow forecasting. So far we have understand about the sales forecasting, expense forecasting, profit forecasting, and cash flow forecasting. So these are the important types of financial forecastings. Now, let's see the example of the financial forecasting. So how to understand the financial forecasting? A mobile phone company expect to launch a new smartphone model in the next year. For example, let's take an example, Samsung or else Apple company. They want to launch a new smartphone model the next year. To forecast the financial performance, it will be to analyze the past sales trends of previous models. So, for example, for Apple, let's take an example of Apple, how that company sales were there in the past. So, if they released in the last year, how the sales were there to analyze the past sales trends of the previous models. So, we can understand that what is the previous sales are there. So that we have to analyze it. So by analyzing that, we can understand that whether we can forecast in the future and study the market demand and the competitor strategies. So we have to study that who are the major competitors to the Apple and how to see that the competition strategies who are going to be there, like that. Study market demand and the competition strategies and estimate the production and marketing cost. So we have to estimate that how much is going to be there in the future cost. That means the production cost. So production and marketing cost, how much is going to be there, how that was there. So that we have to estimate it in the by studying the complete demand and competition strategies. And predict the revenue based and expected sales value. So we have to predict that revenue based expected sales value. How much, for example, today 1 lakh sales was there. Tomorrow that must be increased, maybe 1 lakh to 1 lakh 20 or 1 lakh 30. Something we have to expect the sales. Now let's see the difference between financial planning and forecasting. So here we can based upon some aspects. There's a definition, purpose, time frame, focus, and example. We can understand that financial planning or financial forecasting. These two things are what is the difference, distinction between this financial planning and financial forecasting. Financial planning in terms of definition. Financial planning nothing but is the process of setting financial goals and strategies to achieve them. So here we must have some process setting of financial goals and strategies to achieve this. And financial forecasting nothing but estimating future financial outcomes based on the past data. So everything that is the past data. So past data, what is the 3 categories are that we discussed now? That historical data will help us to estimating the future financial outcomes. Because if you don't look about the historical data, if you don't analyze, if you are going to understanding that, so we can't estimate, we can't forecast the financial forecast for long term. And purpose. The purpose is that financial planning, it helps in resource allocation and goal setting. So depends upon resource allocation. So resource allocation, how we are going to allocate the resource and how we have set the goals. So in this way, the purpose is going to be fulfilling. So the financial planning helps in the resource allocation and goal setting. And in case of financial forecasting is nothing but helps in predicting financial performance and making informed decisions. That means that will be helps us to what is the performance of the organization are going to be there, and what we have to take that informed decisions. So this kind of things must be understood in organizational level. So and time frame. So it can be short term or long term. So short term we can understand that financial planning nothing but is completely up to 1 year plans only. Up to 1 year plans we can understand the financial planning. And in case of forecasting is that usually short term 1 to 3 years. So the short term planning up to 1 year, but here usually short term also this is also short term, but it is up to 1 to 3 years only. So the time frame between these two difference between the time financial planning and forecasting. Focusing. It's creating a roadmap for financial growth. So we can see that roadmap for the financial growth and analyzing the trends to anticipate the future performance. So forecasting, financial forecasting expects that it analyzing the trends to anticipate future performance, how that performance is going to be there. So for that, we have to analyze the trends to anticipate the future performance. Example, in the case of financial planning, a business plan to expand global in 5 years. So within 5 years, they want to expand their business operations. That is known as a financial planning. But in the case of financial forecasting, a company has a 10% increase in the revenue by next year. Why next year? So this is the 10% or 20%, 30%, whatever thing is there. That is the complete business revenue or the profit they want to earn by existing strategies. So that's the reason companies collaboratively is coming to this organizational level. Now, financial planning and forecasting are essential for any business to achieve financial stability and growth. So definitely, any financial planning and financial growth both are two types of important things. That is, forecasting are essential for business to achieve financial stability and growth. So financial stability and growth are the two different things. But here we are going to predicting that forecasting that financial stability and growth. While financial planning focus on setting goals and strategies. So what is going to be happening here? The financial planning focusing on the setting of the goals and the strategies. But in case of financial forecasting, it helps us to predicting the financial outcomes, and it allows the business to prepare for future uncertainties. How much business operations are going to be there in the future? The future uncertainties are going to be there. That must be important to this organization's level. So, these organizations, we have to understand the key difference between the financial planning and financial forecasting. Now, let's see the unit 3, that is the time value of money. What is time value of money? And why have to understand about the financial management? Time gives the value to the money. Time value of money, nothing but time gives the values to the money. Time gives the values to the money. So if you are going to investing money for 5 years or 1 year, so based upon that, that is going to be increasing our 10%, 20%. So that is the value to the existing investment. For example, if you are going to investing 1 lakh rupees in a company, if you are going to investing 1 lakh rupees in a company, how many years you want to invest? For example, you are investing for 1 year, that will be that you 10%. So investing for 2 years, you are going to give in 20% something. So 20% plus 1 lakh. 1,20,000 is the value of the present now. So present come future things. The time value of money will explain about these two things. Now, introduction about the time value of money. So the time value of money, TVM, is the fundamental financial concept that states the concept that states that a sum of money today is worth more than the same sum in the future due to its potential earning capacity. So how that is going to, for example, If you're going to investing 1 lakh rupee every year, there is going to giving 20%, 30% on your investment. So that is known as the potential earning of the capacity, potential earnings. So not per one time, it's the potential earnings of the organizational level. And this principle is crucial in investment decision making. It is the crucial because it's not easily that we can't get 20 or 30% income, but it is crucial to decision making and capital budgeting and financial planning. So financial planning and capital budgeting, decision making, these are the three crucial principles of the investment of the organization. Now, what are the key concepts of time value of money? So let's see that key concepts of time value of money. We have time value of money. That is, first one is the time value of money. Time gives the value to the money. That is the present value. The PV is nothing but the present value is the current worth of the future sum of money given a specific discount rate. That means if you are going to investing money on a particular organization, definitely that give a certain this thing. So present value, for example, you're investing 1 lakh rupees today. And what is the current worth of future sum of money after 1 year? How much that is going to be increasing? So in a given specific discounted, maybe 10%, 20% a discount is going to be there. That is, the formula also is there. PV is equal to present value is equal to future value plus 1 plus R power of N. Now PV is equal to present value, FE is equal to future value, R is equal to the interest rate or discount rate. If you are going to giving 10% or 20%, 30%, depends upon that only, that will be gain. Now, example, let's see the future, the present value. If you expect to receive rupees 10,000 in 3 years, and the discount rate is 5%. Discount is 5%. The present value is that. So if you are going to substituting that value is equal to PV is equal to future value, FU and present value into 1 plus R power of N. So 1 is nothing but a constant. 0.5. What is that? 0. Is that rate of interest. N is the number of years that is a time for 3 years. So if you want to earn 10,000 rupees in 3 years in a 5% present value, so how much we have to invest now? So let's see here. If you are going to investing, if you want to get 10,000 rupees in 3 years, we must understand the time value and time value. What is the value here? The 5% of the value is going to be there. What is the investment here? 10,000. 10,000 rupees is there, 3 years is there, 5%. These three are the important points here. So if you have good, if you have a cash in our 8,640 rupees, if you're going to investing today, it is equivalent to 10,000 rupees received in 3 years at a 5% discounted. Discounted, but interest rate. That is interest rate. So this is the example of present value. So present, how much you want? You must have a 8,640 rupees now in your hand. Then if you're going to investing today itself on 5% of interest and on average you're going to getting for 3 years, you will get 10,000 rupees. So almost 1,360 rupees interest is going to be there when you calculate with the 5% rate of interest. Now, future value. So far we have discussed about the present value. Now we are going to discussing about the future value. So what is the future value here? The future value is is the amount in investment will grow to over time with the compound interest. Like formula is that a PV, FE is equal to PV into 1 plus R power of N. So if you are going to investing 5,000 today at an annual interest rate of 6% for 4 years. So what we have to consider here? Investment amount, annual rate of interest, and how many years you are going to investing. That is important aspect. So the one person is going to investing 5,000 rupees with 6% of interest for 4 years. Now we are going to getting 6,310 rupees after 3 years. Why? Here, this means 5,000 invested today, it will grow to 6,310 rupees in 4 years at a 6% rate interest rate. So 6% rate they are going to providing. You will get 1,630 rupees after 4 years. So after 4 years, how much you want? So you are going to expecting, or you are going to getting 1,310 rupees is the interest on your investment. So your investment is 5,000 rupees only, but you are going to get 6,310 rupees with the rate of interest 20%. So in that way, we can understand about the future value of the particular product. Now, compounding and discounting. What's the difference between compounding and discounting? So compounding is a process of growing an investment over time by reinvesting earnings. So compounding is a process of growing. Okay. So process of growing an investment over time by receiving earnings. So if you are going to if you don't know the financial conditions of the particular organization, how can you invest money? So instead that we can we can understand that compounding interest is a completely cumulative process. It's interest on interest every year that is going to be increasing or changing the particular interest. And discounting is a process of determining present value by reducing the future earnings based on the by reducing the future earnings based on the discount rate only. Practical applications of time value of money. So here the local calculations, capital budgeting. So we can able to see here to measure local calculations, how it helps to determine the EMIs for car loans, home loans, etc. So time value of money, they are good calculating for EMI process. For example, they are good investing, giving loan for 10 years or to 15 years. So they are calculating EMI, how much they want to earn by giving their investment. At the same time, home loans or car loans. So whatever the purpose, we are going to providing the loans to the customers. So investment decisions, how we are going to investing the decisions. So investment decisions, evaluating stock market investments or retirement funds. So investment decision, we are going to evaluate in the stock market conditions. Based upon the stock market conditions, we are going to investing or reinvesting in the even retirement funds also will be applicable to the time value of money. And calculate the capital budgeting. A business use TVM to assess the viability of long-term projects. So long-term project, nothing but the capital budgeting. A business use the time value of money to assess the viability of long-term projects, not for short-term long purpose. It is for the long-term purpose of the organizations. And last one is that savings and retirement plan. So it helps the individual estimation how much they need to save today's future needs. So future needs is that if you are going to fixing certain things, we have to achieve it. If there is no fixing of, we are not going to achieve anything. We are not going to achieving the financial planning and retirement schemes. All is the individual estimation of the how much they need to save today for future years. For example, you have a child, girl child, you have to invest for their education or else their marriage purpose in the future. How much they want to, how much you want to invest money, how much they want to gain in this organizational level. Now, time value of money is a crucial financial principle that helps in making informed decisions about investments and loans and savings. So the time value of money is a crucial financial principle that helps in making informed decisions about investments, loans, and savings. And we have to understanding how money grows or loses value over time. It enables to better financial planning and wealth management. So time value of money will give that a bit understanding about the what are the better financial plannings are there and what are the wealth management options are there in this organizational level. So in this financial management, we are going to have understanding about the present time. Once we are going to have some glance so far. And in it too, we have discussed about the financial planning and forecasting. So far, we discussed about what is the introduction about the financial planning and forecasting, and what is the plan for financial planning, and in that financial planning, what are the objectives are there, and what are the types of plannings are there, and that we have discussed, and example of the financial planning also given. And about the financial forecasting, we have discussed about the definition and given, and also what are the objectives of the financial forecasting, and types of the financial forecasting, and example of the financial forecasting. So that we have discussed in the first second unit, that is financial planning and forecasting. Now, time value of money, that is unit 3. So we have discussed about the introduction about the time value, what is the time value, and what we have to understand, how to understand about the things. And here, what are the key concepts of the time value of money? So key concept is that nothing but the present value of money, how we are going to understand about the present value of money. So present value of money is nothing but example also given. If you are going to investing today, if you want 10,000 rupees in up to 3 years, how much you want to invest now? That is the present value. Your present value is going to be there. How much? 10,000 in the future. So after how many years? 3 years. What is the rate of interest here? 5%. So that is the example. And future is nothing but, so for example, if you are going to investing 5,000 today, how much you are going to getting after 4 years? So 4 years tenure of how much you are going to getting. That is the one kind of concept. And what is the compound and discounting difference? Compounding interest and discounting concept. So in this we have discussed about, and what are the practical applications of the time value of money. So here we have the loan calculations and capital budgeting calculations, investment decisions, and savings and retirement basis. So these are the these things, and with this I'm going to conclude it, and I'm stopping the class.